Interesting fight. Blair the Flair.
Woo!
Yeah, and Mo Hooker.
He looked like a top 5 welterweight.
Did he? Oh man, I don't know about all that. It was a.
Hey, why we have him on the show?
He did his thing. Oh, I don't.
It was an interesting. It was an interesting.
3 quick knockdowns.
Yeah, it was an interesting fight. Like when that got announced, I was like, that's actually kind of an interesting fight. You have Blair obviously coming off his stoppage loss. Mo Hooker trying to get back on track as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, Mo just, I know he was dealing with a lot. They were, Miss Stacy was clearly emotional, came in 3 pounds overweight. So and I don't know if that factored in. He just didn't seem right to start out. And Bomac is like trying to get him going. Obviously, Bud's there in the corner. They were just like,
you know what I say about Bomac. If you go back and watch previous shows.
I do. And I just thought they were trying to kind of
what you say about Bomac?
Get him where Sean's going through his notes. He's like, wait, episode 74. But yeah, it just didn't seem like. And then obviously Blair fought great. He was landing crisp, straight punches, and he's able to even hit him with I think it was a right hook maybe that put him down one of those times. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted Mo to start off better because there were some rounds where I thought he kind of figured it out.
It wasn't a lopsided fight at all.
No,
Blair just boxed well in the back.
I only gave Hooker the 6th.
That's it?
Yeah.
There were a couple that were close, but I think I maybe only gave him 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a good fight. It was an action fight. And Blair's Blair. That was a nasty cut too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oof.
And he's swelling around his other eye too.
Yeah.
Blair said come in with the braids, let him know I mean business.
What you think about how Blair came to the ring?
Stone Cold?
Yeah, Stone Cold.
Oh, I was talking about the Stone Cold's music.
Well, he was Stone Cold.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose that's what you want to see, right? After coming off a
That was
loss,
the point.
that you tighten it up. And if you were a little more, extravagant before, we want to see you, more serious this time. And I thought he was.
A little disappointed he didn't drink a beer, to be honest.
I didn't think
different team and everything.
he wasn't
throw a Pepsi in the
yeah, you gotta smash them together.
I didn't think he did, as much excessive movement. Against Roca and up until that fight, he did a lot of bouncing around for the sake of doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do all that. He could limit some of that, save some of his energy, and I thought he did a better job of that, and he didn't gas as quickly as he did against Rocha because of it. Maurice Hooker, heading into that fight, I was a little concerned for how he was going to perform because Ortiz and Ramirez, those were 2 punishing fights.
And the Ramirez knockout, the stoppage was rough.
Right. He didn't just lose those fights. Those were fights that take a pound of flesh out of you.
Yeah.
And I feel like, even though he's still relatively young, he's an old young fighter.
Yeah.
And his legs he didn't have a lot of zip on his punches. He didn't have a lot of legs underneath him. And it's a lot of credit to him how much heart he showed. He kept coming forward even though he's dropped 3 times early. There's no zip on his shots compared to how they normally are. There's not a lot of life in those legs. Roy Jones, he when he commentated Trinidad versus Winky Wright, I remember he said, when you see a guy who's shot, you see it in his legs first. And I kind of saw that with Maurice Hooker. He could still go out there and beat guys with winning records who got 30, 45, got 20 wins, 10 losses. He still go out there and give those guys work.
Yeah.
But he might want to retire because at the championship level, it looks like he's a spent force because of what he's went through.
And Bud, especially when he was talking about cutting off the ring, was giving him exactly what he needed to. Throw, he's saying, get your foot outside his foot, throw the punch here. And he just wasn't quick enough on the trigger to really get into the fight.
I don't think it was a matter of heart or mind. He was doing everything he could, but that's all his body was producing.
And absolutely a, gutsy performance, getting dropped 3 times early. You fight all the way to the bell, and put the heat to him.
Yep.
Do you have any overall thoughts on it, SP?
Well, first of all, I want to just shout out Danny and the Boxing Voice. He was just walking by and I waved him in real quick. We can't get you on today, big dog, but we're going to get you. We're going to get you. Yep. Appreciate you. Shout out to Danny and the Boxing Voice.
Yes,
y'all make sure y'all tune in to them. And we got a whole bunch of people right here at the window. What's up, y'all?
Sean shook.
Yeah, keep walking.
Thank you.
So Maurice Hooker and Blair Cobbs fought.
Let me come all the way back to the first question that I asked. I wasn't worried per se about Blair and the way he chose his demeanor, the way he chose to come to the ring. But I don't want him to lose that.
Yeah.
That's what got him to the point that he's at in and out of the ring. So I don't want him to lose that. So when he was coming in the ring, I'm reading the body language. I'm like, okay, is he too tight? There's a difference between being serious and being tight. If I'm serious because I have a directive, or am I tight because this is what everybody wants to see?
To do,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, nah, be yourself.
Deontay Wilder.
And so
33.
as the fight started, I text you. I said Maurice Hooker's gonna get knocked out, and I don't even know if you got the text at like he got dropped like
early
right as I was texting that. And what I could see was as that fight started, I could see that Maurice Hooker didn't have the kind of pace to challenge a Blair Cobbs, who's, for the sake of words, new to this, because I'm someone different now, or I need to be someone different. And Maurice didn't have anything to challenge that. I was like, Blair's gonna get comfortable and catch Maurice Hooker because he's just very unorthodox. He jumps in with his shots. He's that movement. He's everywhere, and he's just a really athletic boxer who's still trying to figure out how to use the athleticism and put it together with the boxing technique needed to become a contender. So overall, I just thought that the adjustments that I saw Blair make were good enough for Maurice Hooker, and it allowed him to get back to doing the things that he does, which was really good because I think that it gave him an opportunity to learn in that moment that I can be serious, but I can still be myself, which was what I was worried about. Are you going to be too serious and not be yourself? Maurice Hooker was Styles to make fights. He was the perfect opponent in that moment to give Blair what he needed to kind of get back to that comfortable boxer, athletic guy that he is. And so on the other side of that, I really hate that we talk about retiring, or we kind of retire fighters on this show.
That's why I thought it was important to point out. You put him in there against competent pros, guys with 30, 40 fights. He'll still give him that work. The guy can still fight. I'm just talking about at the championship level.
On the point of retiring, I know you've mentioned that before, that you don't like when we retire fighters. I can speak for myself, and I think all of us. I think it's always from a good place. We're never like, dude, you were terrible. Retire. I think it's always, man, something doesn't look right. You have a life after this. I think that's always my angle.
I think that's always, we worry about life after boxing.
And so my thing with Hooker, my thing with Hooker and why I text you, I was like, yo, he's gonna get knocked out. I could see that just mentally and physically, he was not there, and I knew he was gonna get caught. And as soon as he got caught, I was like, well, I don't want to be right, but it looks like I'm gonna be right. The fight ended up going the distance, and then on the other side of that, I think Cobbs. I don't even think he pulled back. I just think that through the course of the rounds, he didn't have the pop that he had before. And I think that Maurice actually caught him a couple of times and hurt him and kind of forced him to kind of start, kind of backpedaling a little bit more than he needed to. And Maurice took control. The control that Maurice had late in the fight, I don't think he can have that kind of control against anybody early in the fight, which obviously is a problem moving forward for him. So that's kind of where I am with Mo. I think that Mo has really lost a lot over the course of the last couple of fights. And I don't really see him being able to adjust or get better. I don't see that coming from
but
Mo.
again, gutsy performance.
for sure.
Gets through the final bell there.